Good evening and welcome back to Frame of Midlife. It is Tuesday evening. It has been another glorious day. It was utterly roasting today. Um, but this evening I am talking about prepping again. There was an article, I think it was The Guardian, I'm not really sure. But it was someone who had reported on prepping about COVID time, and they'd gone back and spoken to some people talking about prepping in the UK, how it was different to prepping in the US. Things like a lot of the preppers in the US have looked at or are looking at, bug out bags, they have weapons, they've maybe planned to go and meet the family elsewhere, etc., etc. We don't particularly have that here in the UK, apart from the fact that there's not really much space. And obviously the weapon laws are different. But the reporter had spoken to someone who has an online prepping shop, and they were talking about how, depending on what's happening, depends on how quick they sell out of things. I think it was when there was the power cut in Spain. I think they sold something like a month's worth of wind-up radios in one day, something like that. I'm not honestly sure. But when you add that to the problems in the supermarkets with getting food, between the Co-op, Marks and Spencer's, Harrods, all it took was a couple of guys with a computer. There was a report somewhere that said they had access to the Co-op. Is it the Co-op site or Marks and Spencer site? For something like 52 hours they were in the system. They got in via a contractor, seemingly. But it took over 2 days until someone noticed that they were there. And since then they've been firefighting. And so with all these little things, the weather here in the UK changing so much, droughts, is there going to be problems with food, etc.? And you're like, yep, there's going to be more people doing the prepping. And I thought, I completely get that. And I thought, what have I learned in the last few years? And one of the things I've learned is, do not over prep. Now, I know people can say you can never have too much stuff, but you can. There's stuff that I bought. I found dried milk that was best before 2023, June 2023. So it's like 2 years past its best before date. I bought so much stuff when I first started prepping, and I didn't use it at the time. I was just like, no, I'll keep it, I'll save it, and didn't think about rotating it. So that is definitely something to watch out for. Also buying things that you won't use as much. Like I got, because when I first started, I didn't have the dehydrator, I didn't have the pressure canner, anything like that. My skills at preserving were completely negligible. So I bought tinned chicken and tinned pork. Really not overly keen on them. Quite happy with tinned corned beef. I make corned beef hash with that. I'll have that in a sandwich. But the spam / pork and the tinned chicken, yeah, just don't use it. Even things like fruit pie fillings, I was like, oh yeah, this is great. Nope, haven't used them either. Well, I've used a couple, but not nearly as many as I bought. So that is definitely something that I would say to anyone looking to prep. Watch what you're buying and make sure you rotate it, because I have been caught out quite big with that. Obviously at the moment, I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since we've had rain here. So we've looked out my big, I have like a gallon, maybe 2 gallon, I don't know. I have a plastic container about that size, which is for water. So we're going to be filling that up just because you can keep that for a wee while, just in case. And as I've said before, I'm going to be looking to get a water butt later on this year. Just for things like, as I said, I noticed the comfrey plant had suffered from lack of water. So just in case I maybe do start growing something, but also just in case the water goes down or something like that, at least we'll still have drinking water. I do intend buying more bottled water in the very near future, like payday. But yeah, it's definitely, I took up a lot of space in the house with a lot of foodstuffs. And it's stuff that I haven't particularly used. So now I'm quite conscious of what do I use, what do I not use, how much storage space does something take. One of the things that I do use a lot of is jam. What can I say? I use a lot of jam. Mainly on toast in the morning, but also I grew up having jammy pieces, as in jam sandwiches. And it literally is 2 slices of bread with a whole load of jam in the middle. Crumpets I like with jam. And there is nothing, certainly for me, that tastes like homemade jam. So yeah, I bought strawberries this morning. And as I said in the morning cuppa, you were absolutely right with the comments of watch for the reduced stickers versus full price. The full price was much better value because it was on Tesco Club Card price. So I got like double the weight for the same sort of price as the reduced one. So I got a couple of them. My intention was to make jam tomorrow afternoon, but I need to work tomorrow afternoon. So we'll be doing that whenever I get the afternoon off. We'll see when we can get that sorted. And if it's not like Thursday or Friday, then we'll just be eating the strawberries. But yeah, it was, as I say, it's quite interesting to see that, you know, the media are talking about food shortages. One of them is talking about prepping. But definitely one of the biggest things I would say about the prepping is make sure you get what you will use, because I didn't. I just got what people recommended. They were like, oh, make sure you've got meat just in case. I've still got the meat. I might have to start feeding it to the dog. But I know it lasts a long time, so we'll see. I do sometimes use it once in a blue moon. But yeah, definitely make sure you buy what you will eat, not what people say, oh, you should have this because it's really good for protein, or it's no use to anybody if it's sitting in the cupboard doing nothing and you won't eat it. It's pointless. It's a complete waste of money. And it's taken me a while to realise that. At least 2 years. And I still have stuff that I bought at the very beginning that I really should use or get rid of. As I say, I have a dog and a cat, so we'll see how we get on. But yeah, so I just thought I'd come and tell you and say, well, that's what's going around the media just now here in the UK. So if you're deciding to start prepping, definitely watch how much space you've got, and prep what you will actually use. I mean, I got shampoo years ago and we're still going through it. I got so much. So that is something that, yeah, it means I don't have to buy shampoo, I would say, at least for another couple of years. You know, but oatmeal I've had for a while. I'm now starting to eat it with, in the mornings as porridge with the mango. Fabulous, loving that. But as I say, the tin stuff, watch what you buy. Because I would say at least half a cupboard full of stuff that I'm like, really? And there is some stuff that I'm going to have to bin because I tried the dried milk. I had been using it and I tried the dried milk. It lasted a wee while. But this morning, when I made tea with it, it went all funny. So that tub just has to be thrown out. And it was a rather big tub, so it might be because it's been open for so long. But it's something that I'm wasting, which we don't like. So there you go. That is my thing for today. Is if you're thinking of starting prepping, getting into it, then be careful what you buy. Catch you later.